Okay, let's talk now about life insurance and human capital. Now, this is really some cutting-edge stuff that Morningstar and Ibbotson have worked on, and they've worked on it with some Fortune 100 companies. But it kind of comes down to, how do you calculate a person's value? Well, we talked about replace current income, that in a 5% interest rate environment you need at least $1 million to protect $50,000 of income. But what about human capital? What about your full replacement value? And this includes the present value of your future income. So if you think about it, human capital is the present value of your future income. You add that to your financial capital, and your financial capital is your stocks and your bonds and your mutual funds and your annuities, so all the financial assets that you've acquired. Now, your total economic wealth equals your future earnings and your financial capital. That's your total economic wealth. And what each of us is supposed to do during our lives is to take our human capital, our earnings as we earn them, and turn them into financial capital. So what you would think is that when you're young, let's say you're in your 20s, you probably don't have a lot of money saved up, but guess what? You're a multi-millionaire in human capital. And your job is, over your life, to turn those millions into millions of investments. That's your job, okay? We're to take our human capital and turn it into financial capital over time. So the younger you are, the less financial capital you have, but you're loaded in human capital. And then when you get to be 65, you don't have much human capital left because you're not going to make much more money, but you should have by then turned in your human capital into millions of dollars of investments. And so, Ibbotson came up with a unique question. They said, are you a stock or are you a bond? Now, what does that mean? Well, if you think about it, a tenured professor in a college is more like a bond. Their income is reliable, it's steady, and what Ibbotson was saying, and Morningstar, is that if you have steady income, you should invest a little more in stocks and equities. But if you're a stockbroker where your income can go up and down, you should invest more conservatively with bonds. You get it? So that your human capital ties into your overall asset allocation. And the problem is when people don't diversify their assets and their job from their investments, what happens? Well, think of Enron. Think of WorldCom. These people at Enron, they got their paycheck from Enron. Their 401k was Enron, but guess where it was invested? In Enron stock. And then if they had other money, guess what they bought? They bought Enron stock. I'll think of another example. What about realtors in Arizona and Nevada? See, for years, you couldn't lose money in Arizona in real estate. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. But guess what? When the markets imploded and the markets got crushed, guess who lost? Realtors. Many realtors went bankrupt. Almost all the builders I know in Arizona went bankrupt. Why? Because they had everything in real estate. They bought real estate. They owned real estate. They knew everything there was to know about real estate. And when it crashed, everything went down. So the whole point is, you don't want to have all your money or all your income and investments tied up in one place. You want to have that diversified. And see, life insurance is the perfect vehicle to protect your human capital. It's the only thing that can protect the present value of your future earnings. So let's say that we've got somebody whose total economic wealth was $1.5 million. They have $800,000 in human capital, their future earnings, and they've been able to save up $700,000. Well, if they don't protect their human capital and they die, their death benefit's only $700,000, the money that they had. But if they would have just taken a little bit of the money, they could have equalized their value alive or value dead, because they would have protected against the loss of that human capital. So life insurance can protect your human capital as well.